The review of Dear Cruel Morning, which I originally called Rude Awakening and then called Oh Cruel Morning, and finally just decided to call it Dear Cruel Morning. So I'm going to go through this poem. I'm going to put out the production first, and then this is the review. So I talk about how I wrote it, what I had originally written, how I changed it as I can remember it. I try to put notes in my Google documents so that I can see what I did. I've always wanted to do, I always did that usually. I found out recently that I think I lost a whole bunch of poems that I had, but not to worry, they weren't that good anyway, so most of them weren't. And there's plenty more where that came from. And I just realized my glasses need a little cleaning. So here's Dear Cruel Morning. Oh, cruel, encroaching morning, filling my room with blatant light. Okay? Robbing me of carefree comfort felt within the noiseless night. You can hear the cadence working, right? Originally, I did write blatant light, then I changed it to all this light, because blatant just seemed a little bit too much. But then later I just went back to blatant because it works. It's kind of a little bit stunted, and it's probably not good to have at the beginning of the poem maybe or anywhere, but I just kept it there. Seems to work for me. Must I leave my bed and shed this quiet cozy fold, forsaking undercover warmth for the callous cold? This is the first where you have what I call a subrhyme. Must I leave my bed and shed this quiet cozy fold? Quiet cozy fold. Now that's a subconsonant harmonization as well. Like callous cold at the end, that's the consonants harmonizing there. And so you have several things going on here. The cadence of both of these are pretty spot on. Even if sometimes they sound good and they don't, you might have 11 consonant or 11 syllables in one and 10 on the other, and you're like, well, why does that work? I don't know, but it's more of an intuitive thing because I used to count out all that stuff. But leave my bed and shed this quiet, cozy fold. This is just a really good line. And the callous cold, I originally it was immersive cold, right? For the immersive cold or something like that. And while that is a good word to describe, it's like you're fully engulfed in the cold, the thick cold air. Callous cold, while not capturing the immersiveness of the cold, the consonant harmonized there. That's important, but also callous cold is describing it that it's not warmth and inviting, right? So it's a different idea altogether. Oh, cruel and bitter morning, why your singing, ringing alarm. Now, there's a little bit something off about that, and I have thought about, and I might have, when I performed it, I thought about put ringing, dinging alarm, dinging, ringing alarm. It's a little bit too many syllables going on there, but I didn't feel like spending any time to fix that. Do you think this morning's brink has any alluring charm? Now, there's another subrhyme there, think and brink. It's one of those things that just, how did you think about it? I have no idea, it just came to me. The beckoning and reckoning will not at all suffice. It's not enough for me to slough my covers for that air of ice. I've changed that back and forth. The air of ice, that air of ice. We're separating the idea there. So I'm going to update that. Beckoning and reckoning, it's a little bit cheesy, but it works well enough. Also, the word suffice. Um, I had a different word. Well, it does not at all entice or something like that, but it didn't really. It wasn't natural, as natural as will not at all suffice, and that is also not quite modern vernacular either. It's not the way we talk, but it feels a little bit more natural. It's not enough for me to slough my covers for that air of ice. That air of ice is just, I love that phrase. Not too excited about enough for me to slough. It's kind of a cheesy sub rhyme, but this poem is not necessarily, it's not a serious poem. If you had a serious poem, you don't want anything that's remotely cheesy. So this is kind of a lighthearted, well, elegant poem, in my opinion. O cruel, relentless morning, can't you once just let me win? If I shall lie with endless sigh, why, oh why is it a sin? Now that is a grand slam of sub-rhyming there. And notice, like in verse 1, it's, oh, cruel, encroaching morning. Verse 2, oh, cruel and bitter morning. Verse 3, oh, cruel, relentless morning, right? So it's repetitive, but it's not the same. And that's also good for memory as well, because all you have to do once I remember the verses, but I don't know which one goes in order, all I have to do is remember, okay, encroaching, that's going to be easy because you're starting the poem. Bitter, and then relentless, and fateful would be the next. So you only need to remember 3 in order to remember what's going to come next. But this grand slam of sub-rhyming, if I shall lie with endless sigh, why, oh why is it a sin? Now, endless sigh is unnatural. It's not a common expression. I've never heard it before other than here, but it's not too bizarre, Just leave me be and set me free to float down lazy stream. See, this is kind of formulating, like it's kind of, to me, it reminds me of the row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. That's kind of where that is either coming from or relating to. Just leave me be and set me free. So there's that's a sub-rhyme there. Not quite as elegant as the last one. To float down like, take your day and go away so I may stay and lay and dream. Now there's another grand slam, right? You've got, 4 there? Take your day and go away so I may stay and lay and dream. And then you're landing on the proper rhyme from the stream, from the line before. So, man, that just... There's no other poem that I have that is quite as saturated with rhyming. O cruel and fateful morning, there's no way you can be beat. So long, my sleeping song, I wrong you as I stand upon my feet. Now the syllable flow really lands well to me with the last rhyme, beat and feet, right? Beat your feet in the army, they say, beat your feet, and then you have to run. So long, my sleeping song, I wrong you. Now we don't usually say the word wrong you, but everybody knows what that means. That's a pretty good, that's a triple play right there, right? This dawning, now dawning is still tying into the song, right? So we're seeing that tie into there. This dawning view that's rightly due. Yes, you who caused me strife. See, the sub-rhyme is a triple play right there. I shall miss this kiss of bliss, but whistle on with life, right? There's foreplay there. But I changed that to but, whistle on with life. because it's a contrast. And this is a defiant thing. So it's giving in, okay, it's inevitable. I'm going to have to wake up. There's no way I can not get up, you know. So long my sleeping song is like looking back. I wrong you as I stand upon my feet. That's beautiful. It's just a beautiful visual there. This dawning view that's rightly due, yes, you. Now it's anthropomorphizing, or it's personalizing as if it's a person. The dawning view, it's describing it and then saying, you who caused me strife. Now it's showing the defiance. I shall miss this kiss of bliss, but whistle on with life. So it's one of my favorites, and it really, I think it's probably the best work I've ever done, because it wasn't originally that good. I went back to it at some point, I don't know when, and just kind of fine-tuned it. It wasn't but maybe a year, within very shortly after I originally wrote it, as far as I can remember. But hope you enjoyed that, and that's all for the review of O Cruel Morning.